Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do a review of King of Monster Island, which is a standalone game in the King of Tokyo or King of New York universe. This version is cooperative. Hopefully you've had a chance to check out our How to Play and Playthrough, where we played the introductory scenario and then we tried the hard mode. So you can see us play it twice, and we got our butts kicked on hard mode.
Yes, we did.
We even played it with 3 players and got our butts kicked
Yes,
on
we
hard mode.
did. This is true.
So you see that there's an island here, and you construct this volcano over the top because you'll be dropping boss dice. And the boss is one of these titans here. And the titan is trying to open a portal to an interdimensional portal to take over Earth. And we are cooperating as one of these 5 monsters. We're working together to stop one of 3 titans. Now the blue sides are the easiest mode, and then you can do the hard sides where they have more health and they roll more boss dice. So the easiest one here, we won this pretty easily, is this titan will roll 5 boss dice in the beginning and have 15 health. But if you flip it over to the other side, it would be 6 dice and 25 health. And then if you compare it to Lava Lord, it's 7 dice and 30 health on the blue side, and the hardest one right here is 8 dice and 35 health. And then there's even a mode where you can play ultimate mode where you have to take on all 3
Oh my gosh.
at one time. They come one after another. You defeat one and then the next one comes. Okay.
They're all in at once.
So the Titan has help from these minions. And the reason why they're sorted out here, you have shield minions, soldiers, lava cannons, and workers, I believe that's what they're called. Builders. And they have different health because when we're attacking them, we can use claws. Unlike the original King of Tokyo, claws do 2 damage, and feet, which you can use to move or attack, does 1 damage. So the way that when you're attacking a titan, say a titan's in the same space as a minion right here, and I'm right here. If there's a shield minion there, I must defeat the shield minion first. I actually have to defeat all minions that are in this space before I can attack the titan, the boss. But if there's a shield minion there, I have to take them out first, then I can attack any of these. Now, how does the boss open up the portal? Well, if it gets 3 of these pylons built, and anywhere on the board, we lose the game. Now, how does it build the pylons? Well, the builders during the minion phase will build a crystal, and then if the boss dice shows a crystal, they'll be built as well. So if a space gets 3 crystals, it converts into a pylon, and it will cover up these support spaces. I'll explain that in a minute. And you can even get them into the same space. You can get all three in the same space, but it'll likely be built around different parts of the board. And if that happens, we lose. Another way we lose is any one of the monsters that are working together have 0 health, we lose. Or if all the minions have been drawn out of the bag. So soldiers have 1 health. Lava cannons, the reason why they're special is that normally when a minion attacks, they can only attack a monster in the space that they're with. But when a minion activates, they attack all monsters on the board with their cannons. And the builders, as I explained, build crystals. So the way you start the game is you decide what boss you want to play. You put the boss in a random space, and you'll see here that there's a sticky note here because these bases don't hold. I wonder if that will be part of the review. So you put all the minions in here, and you draw randomly. And like I said, you lose if the 3 pylons get built, or any one monster runs out of health, and you start with 10 health, just like in the regular King of Tokyo, and you have 0 fame. So then you put a minion all around the board like this in different spaces. And then we decide where we start. So let's say I start here and Julie starts over here. We set the dial to the right spot. Now notice that the boss has 0 fame, and as the boss gets fame, the boss will get more abilities. So at some point, if it gets 20 fame, we'll have all these abilities, what makes it harder for us to defeat it. Now it can, there are cards that you can buy to make it lose fame. And there's usually a special ability here that activates before it moves. So it has Sharp Fist. It will deal 1 damage to the monsters with the most health in this or adjacent zones. So that's before it moves, because it has these big claws. You'll see right here. So that's why we know not to start adjacent to that boss.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the turn order here real quick. The turn order cards are on the back of these allies. So one thing that's new about this is that we have allies that we can get. As soon as we get 1 fame, we will be able to pick an ally, and we'll get powers just like the boss does when the more fame you get. And you can spend your dice to do that. So the more fame you get, the more powers that you have. Now, one thing that I did wrong, that somebody thankfully pointed out when we played this, you're only supposed to draw random allies equal to the number of players plus 1.
Oh.
So you don't play with all 6. So you're supposed to shuffle them up. And then you would draw 2 plus 1, and so then we would have these 3 to pick from once we start getting fame.
Oh, that's funny.
So let's take a look at the turn sequence here so you have an idea how it plays. So the boss will go first. You check the boss's active powers, meaning is there anything that's going on here that it has acquired through fame. Okay. At the beginning it won't have that. Then you roll the available dice. Then you move the boss, and you move the boss to the zone that has the most dice. And if it's tied for the most dice, to the zone that has the most minions and dice. And then you activate minions in the boss's zone, and then you activate the dice. So let's do that right now. This crystal dragon has only 5 dice, which is manageable. This is, in your first game, you'll see this is pretty easy, okay? So you drop it in randomly right here. And then you look at where did the dice go. So if we look at the turn sequence here, there's nothing that was activated. We look at its before movement. There's nobody to attack in the zone or adjacent zone, so it doesn't do that. And now it's going to move to the zone with the most dice, which is right here. It moves in here, and then it activates the minions. There's a shield minion here, so nothing happens. Now, if it was a situation like this, and we were in here, we would have taken 1 damage before it moved. It would have moved in here, the minion would have attacked us, we would have taken another damage, and then you would activate the dice in here. So it would get a crystal. That's what this side means. It gets a crystal. And here it gets summons a minion. So you draw out of the bag a random one.
I remember what that was.
Yeah, I was trying to remember too. Now it's important you do this in order. I think we figured out really quick that you don't activate the dice first. You activate the minions that are there first.
Yeah.
Then you activate the dice. You make it really hard on yourself if you did it the other way around. So now these 2 dice are off the board. And now the next monster goes. Say I was going first, so we look at here at the sequence. It's just like King of Tokyo. You're going to roll 6 dice. You're going to resolve the dice, and then you can buy power cards, and there's 3 available, and you can cycle them out by spending 2 energy. Now you do have some free actions. You can activate recharge support tiles, and you can lock dice. So those are 2 new actions that are not in King of Tokyo. If you look here, hearts are just like the King of Tokyo. You could use them to heal, but you can also use them to heal a monster in your own zone, so you can cooperate that way. Now notice energy. The more energy, that you roll, you get bigger numbers. So if you get 5 energy, for instance, you would get, you roll 5 energy, you get 15 energy. That's why you have these 10s here. So you can get energy really quick. The foot side is like what I said. You could use to do 1 damage or move. You could do 2 damage with a claw. You can spend wrenches. That's new. If you spend 3 wrenches, you can get a support tile. And if there's already a support tile in that zone, you can spend 4 to get a second support tile. You could also spend fame. And then once you get your first fame, you can get an ally like I just showed you. Or you could spend the fame to remove a boss dice and get +1 fame. The problem is if you remove a boss dice, it's going to get dropped again on the next person's turn. But it is an option because sometimes things can get overwhelming and you may want to do that. So what are support tiles? Support tiles, if you spend 3 wrenches, so let's say I rolled, and just like in the regular game, you get to roll the dice up to 3 times. So I got a bunch of energy there. But let's say I got 3 wrenches and I spent them. And I got something like this. And I'm over here. Okay, I didn't get to move, let's say. I got stuck. Well, I can spend these 3 wrenches to get a support tile. And I can use them right away. So I flip it over, it's random. So this gives me an energy and 1 fame. And when you use that support tile, it gets flipped over. And on a future turn, you can activate it, but you can't use it on the same turn that you activate it. So it's basically it takes 2 turns to you activate it, and then anybody could use them on the next turn. So that's how you use wrenches. Now, one other thing you can do here is you can lock dice. So let's say I wasn't damaged at all. I can leave this here for a future turn. And if you run out of dice, you'll see that there are 3, 6, 9, 10 dice. Let's say there's dice locked in different spots on the board. And there's only 5 dice. Well, then you just decide which one to remove that's locked. And if a crystal gets say there's a locked dice here, and a 3rd crystal needs to be placed, it actually removes that die when it's locked. So you can lock dice that you don't want to use to be used on future turns. Now, the only other additional rule that there is that you still have these power cards that you can acquire using energy. The same type of thing where you have something that you can keep, discard. That means you use it right away. But as you're replacing them, you draw from the deck 1 at a time. And you can get events. Some events can be bad, such as this red one here. So sometimes when you are drawing new power cards, bad things can happen. So the boss heals 5. All monsters in the boss's zone take 2 damage. The boss moves clockwise 1 zone. Which can be bad because when it moves, it might get some powers. Or you can get good things. Gee, I wonder why they're on top of the deck. I wonder if I set that up ahead of time. Okay, so Science Camp event. All monsters gain 2 energy. The boss moves clockwise 1 zone. So you keep on playing until either one monster loses all health, the 3 pylons are built, or all minions are out of the bag. That means we lose because it's cooperative. Or we just defeat the boss and reduce it to 0. And you'll see it's really clever here. It has a 2. See how there's 2 dials right there for the 10s place and the 1s place. So that's pretty cool that it has that.
Well, in these, they have so much life.
Yes.
Or health.
Health, especially when you fight the one with 35.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do our review here. We're going to give her positives, negatives, and neutrals.
Yep. And then tell you how we rated it on the BGG scale.
Okay, and Julie goes first.
I always go first. I love this. It's a cooperative push your luck game, and I'm into cooperative games. I do like push your luck too, so it's a good, win-win for me on this one. I found it really easy to learn and play. Again, when I say learn, it's meaning David's teaching me how to play, and I'm picking it up, and then I'm playing it. So I'm not teaching him. So
you already knew how to play King of Tokyo, so that helped.
So it was just, adding the new things I had to learn. Super easy to do. I think the bosses and the allies, that's really cool. That's a nice variant I really, really like. And I like that, you can make it as easy on yourself or as hard on yourself as you want. It's a nice, you can mix it up. What I also liked is that the playtime is really good with 2 people. There's not a lot of downtime, which I was kind of worried about being cooperative and such. I mean, there's a lot of, you are talking a lot. You are trying to say, okay, which way should I go? What do you think I should do? And it's a lot of give and take. It's not like David's telling me, you do this, this, and this. I get to have my input, and I get to help him decide things, which is, it's really great.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. How you spend your dice. I mean, are you going to go for energy and get or go fame and get allies? Are you going to get power cards? Or are you just going to try to beat the crap out of the boss as quick as possible?
Exactly. And it's a nice, it's great. The only thing, and again, because it's dice, it can get a bit frustrating that you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah.
And whether it be you're rolling the green dice for your monsters, or, you're rolling these red monster boss dice, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe it won't be so bad, but, it can sometimes bite you in the butt. So,
yeah, especially when you get things with 2 sides. You'll see here, like, you can get 2 minions there.
So that...
2 fame.
But, you have dice, so it's what you're expecting. It's going to be a little frustrating because it's all random, but it's very minor.
At least there's only 1 in 6 chance you're going to get
The little...
a crystal. Remember, you need 3 crystals to get that pylon.
Right.
All right, so let's see what I have to say.
Okay.
So it's a cooperative push your luck boss fight match. You do feel like you're playing in a Godzilla movie. And it's kind of based on that. Trying to remember the movie where you have Jaegers fighting. It will come to me in a moment. There's a recent movie where you have... You remember they're fighting in giant robots, the monsters that come through the portals from the other planet?
Oh, it does sound
It's escaping me. We love that movie. In fact, we even have it on 3D, and it's great in 3D. It's not all movies in 3D are good, but it's good. But even the old Godzilla movies, you do really feel like Godzilla versus King Kong. We have that one. That one's pretty decent.
Yeah.
So thematically, they hit it out of the park. You do feel like you're doing that. So it's a cool theme, art, and mechanics. As usual, the art conveys.
Awesome.
It's comic book art.
It's not scary art at all.
No, it's not. And it's colorful. You can see some games you've been playing lately, they have a dark filter on things. This is bright. It's great. So surprisingly strategic with agonizing actions at times, because you're thinking, do we really just want to beat them up as fast as possible? Are we going to build up our fame?
Right.
Are we going to go for power cards? And sometimes you don't roll what you want, so then you got to switch strategies, or you're going to go for it and push your luck. So that's the agonizing part. But at the same time, it can be too swingy with draws, cards, and dice rolls. So one thing that it can be very frustrating when you're drawing new power cards and you get those events, and some of these events can really mess you up. Or if the boss gets a lot of fame, and so if you take a look at the Lava Lord, for instance, they have an extra minion that they get. So if you play the hard one, where's the one that we drops minions?
Maybe on the other side? Or is it this guy?
It's a Lava Lord. Oh, it's
I don't know.
Well, if you look at this one, for instance, when a soldier minion is destroyed, it deals 1 damage to all monsters in the zone. So that makes it hard for you to go, because you got to take out those soldiers first. This is what it is. Deal 1 damage to all monsters in my zone. Heat aura.
Yeah.
There's a certain boss here where they get these extra minions. You don't put them in the bag, and when they leave a zone, they drop it there. And then if you leave, it does 1 damage to you automatically. So it's things like that can get really frustrating.
Yep.
But that's okay, because you don't have to play with that guy.
That's right.
And when you get better at the game, you do want that challenge. So it does avoid alpha player issues, only because there's so many options to do. Unless your team is just like, let's avoid healing. It means you're going to lose. So sometimes you go like, we better heal because or otherwise we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Or we better take out some minions, otherwise we're not going to be able to draw them from the bag. So some pieces are quality, others are average to below average. So quality dice, they're etched dice. These are decent thickness. The counterboards and the board, this is decent. But what's below, cards are average, but what's below average are these allies. I mean, they're the stock that you use for cards. So that's below average. They could have made that a little bit better. And then, what's the last thing here?
Player count balance.
So I'm not too sure if it's balanced. We played with 3 players. We played with 2 players. I don't know if there is a sweet spot for player counts, or we haven't played it enough with. We haven't played with 4 or 5. We don't know what will happen with that. So it's a neutral right now because I don't know if there's issues with that. So just keep that in mind. And a negative is an ineffective monster boss stance. This is why you see here, if you don't put just a little thin piece, like a sticky note on either side, it will slip out and you'll be moving around and it'll be frustrating. So you'll likely have to do that. So that was the negative thing. So you ready for our rating?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Okay. Wow, you
So you
gave it a
explain.
9.
We've played this 6 or 7 times. Why do you rate it an 8?
Why do I rate it an 8?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun. I would enjoy suggesting it. I would enjoy playing it.
But why not a 9 or a 10?
Well, I think because the frustration of the dice, the frustration of pulling out the minions, and you think you're making headway and then it's like, ugh, or the boss gets too much fame and really starts messing with you. It can get a little disheartening. But
Okay, so the swinginess prevents you from rating it higher. I'm okay with that. I'm rating it a 9 just because this is a game we can play over King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo is not that much fun with 2 players.
True.
This game we can play with 2 players.
This is true.
Now, King of Tokyo is more of a party game, so to speak. I look at it that way. It has player elimination. You just kill each other quickly, and it's
right.
But you could be sitting there, and you could even die in the first round. We've had that happen.
We have.
But the game usually ends quickly.
Yeah.
But that's the point of King of Tokyo. I rate this higher than King of Tokyo because we're working together. And both games are swingy. Mm-hmm. But I play this one over King of Tokyo when it's just us 2. So that's why I'm rating it a 9.
I like that.
Now, I don't know how this would play with 4 or 5 players, but King of Tokyo plays really well with high player counts.
Oh, it does.
That's part of the fun, right? Having everybody run up there. And so King of Tokyo is great at higher player counts, but again, you have that player elimination issue.
But you're right. This one is good because it is cooperative and it is good for just 2 players. Maybe as I play it even more, it will go up to a 9. But as of right now, it's just still an 8.
Right. So there we go. That's our review of King of Monster Island, and hopefully you check out our how to play video. And we have 2 playthroughs, so you can see the hard mode.
2 playthroughs.
You can see our butts get kicked on
Big time.
On the hard mode.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We appreciate your subscription, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. And we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.